But a whole host of banking numbers were out over the weekend. Axis Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank in particular. Digant, Haria, founder of GreenEdge Wealth Services, now joins in. Digant, first give us your read on Kotak and Axis. How did it fare? What were the key trends and observations you had?
Yeah, hi, morning, Rima. Good to be here. See, I think large banks, all of them have one simple underlying current that, they're struggling in that, 11, 12% kind of growth, or maybe even lesser, like Kotak had a 9% kind of a growth. And that is mainly because, the PSU banks are doing too well and, they are taking some market share. So I think both the results were okay, just in line with what was expected. I think growth and margins will, have, been slightly disappointing for, all the large banks, right from HDFC to Kotak. And I think this is a trend, Rima, which will continue for the rest of the year as well, because the PSU banks are very healthy and they're competing left, right, and center in the market. So I expect that, these banks will underperform the PSU banking pack. But yeah, nonetheless, if somebody is happy with 10, 15% kind of compounding, I think these stocks definitely fit that bill.
Which was the PSU Bank standout performer this time, since your preference clearly lies with PSU banks rather than these large private sector financials?
I think a lot of results are yet to come, but I think Indian Bank, really stands out. Even the smaller ones like Bank of Maharashtra, Bank of India, a lot of them stand out. The big boys are yet to declare their results, but I think that is where some action will be, and even regional banks, are reporting good set of numbers. Be it Federal or we had DCB also, which came over the weekend, and IndusInd is a mid-sized bank which also came over the weekend. I think that stock is bottoming out. Their microfinance performance has started improving in line with other microfinance companies. So I think IndusInd Bank, amongst the large private banks, could be, something which has bottomed out, and it could positively surprise over the next 12 months.
Okay, all right. Sounding optimistic, Digant, on IndusInd Bank. Good to see you in Digant. Nice and colorful. What about SBI? That's clearly been the leader of the pack, right? More than 1,000 rupees stock, and suddenly it got its act together, went through a long phase of consolidation. What's your view?
Yeah, see, again, I think SBI has outperformed the banking index, the markets, and its peers in terms of stock price performance. This outperformance is justified, but I don't think we should expect further outperformance from here, Nigel, because if you look at the banking sector growth, that is around 11%. SBI will probably end up growing around 12%. So unless the country's growth goes up significantly, I don't think SBI can outperform from here. It will be a market performer again, something like 12, 13% compounding. But yes, very strong undercurrents in all the PSU banks. So that's the spot to be in.
Okay, all right. What about the NBFC space, Digant? You were on the money on a couple of names that you recall in the past, Northern Arc and the likes. Currently, how do you like that? I think one of the earnings reactions of this quarter have been from Credit Access Grameen. The stock popped up 10% on a day that the markets were brittle. What stands out from there? What is your big pick?
Yeah, so Nigel, two really strong trends coming out of the NBFC pack. One is that, see, microfinance, the worst is really over. You can see it in results of, say, an Ujjivan Small Finance Bank, Credit Access, and even IndusInd, which reported numbers. The slippages have started coming down quarter on quarter. So microfinance, we can clearly say that the worst is behind. Improvements have started, and every subsequent quarter for the next 5 quarters will be improving quarters in terms of numbers. So microfinance is a clear turnaround. The turnaround has happened. Second, Nigel, is this gold and silver. Gold is shining, and we say that India has 35,000 tons of gold, but that 35,000 tons of gold, 75% of that lies in just the 3 states of South India, and there are these lot of gold loan players, especially these regional banks like Tamil Nadu Mercantile Bank, South Indian Bank, Catholic Syrian Bank. All these banks are really upping their game in gold. NBFCs have, usually been very good at gold loans, be it Muthoot Finance, Fedfina, and the likes. But even the regional banks are upping their play on gold. So somebody who has missed buying gold and silver, the physical metal, I think this is a good proxy which can do well for the next 12 months.
IIFL Finance, the management clarified that it's fairly procedural, the special audit that's been asked for by RBI, but the stock corrected very sharply. I think it was down 15% in a span of 2 days. What is your read of the developments at IIFL Finance?
So, Rima, the gold loan performance was stellar, really outstanding. Like, they really cracked the gold loan. They've captured the growth, very good growth coming out of them. But yeah, see, this is income tax audit. I believe what the management says that it is routine. See, in the last 18 months, they have gone through an RBI audit and an income tax audit. And then they have come out of it. So I think this should be routine, but again, as Rakesh ji used to say that shak ki dawa to sirf time, samay ke paas hai, which is like, you have to wait for some more time so that there are no adverse observations. But on the gold loan front, they're doing well. Their borrowing costs will eventually come down. They have a lot of levers. So yeah, this can also be kept in radar, but it's an issue which is beyond numbers. So we have to weigh our risk reward.
Okay, Digant, we'll leave it there. More questions. I mean, so much happening, right? And such a tough time, but interesting time all at once. Thanks very much for joining us with all that. Well, we'll